Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in today. This is the Bodega Cat Book Club Health Edition. And today we're continuing our reading of Your Body's Many Cries for Water by Dr. B. I call him Dr. B. I don't know how to pronounce his name. All right, anyways, the subtitle is called You're Not Sick, You're Thirsty. Don't Treat Thirst with Medication. So thank you so much for joining us. We have just before we begin, well, I'm just going to do a little plug and then we'll go ahead and dive into a reading. So we have three different book clubs going on every week. We have the spiritual book clubs on Monday, where we read spiritual books, health book clubs on Wednesdays, which is what this book is. It's about all about health. We read books about health. And then Thursdays, we have financial book clubs where we read books about finances. So you can join us on one or all or none, whatever works for you. We put all our books that we've read in the past, as well as the current ones, on YouTube. So if you can't join us on Zoom, on live, you can always catch us up on YouTube and check out our YouTube channel. I'll leave all the links in the description box below that I've talked about so you can check them all out. Um, on our YouTube channel, we also have podcasts that we put out once in a while. We have that on our website as well, so you could check the podcast out on our website or on our YouTube channel. So if you're on the YouTube channel, please share and subscribe and all that good stuff so that we can share all the good wisdoms to other people. So anyways, once a month we have a newsletter that we put out for free. So please subscribe to that so you can catch us up, catch up on what we're doing, um, merch that we have that are on sale, like the holidays right now. Things like that, if you want to support us that way, we appreciate it very, very much. And we have designs coming out every month. So come to our website often just to check out what we got and support us that way. And you could also support us by buying me a coffee. I appreciate that very much too. And if you have books that you want to recommend for the book club to read, I'll leave a link in the description box below as well. And it could be for anything, for spiritual books, for health books, for financial books. We like classic books because classic books have stood the test of time, usually, at least in theory. And also, they've been around for a while. They have a lot of wisdom, a lot of knowledge. So, anyway, something to consider. And then, lastly, if you are in the LA area, Los Angeles area, come join us in person. We have a healing center that we use technologies based on Nikola Tesla's scalar wave research for holistic healing for both animals, cats and dogs, and humans. So check us out there. And we have all the information about the technology on our website as well as our other services as well. So many, many ways to connect with us. And, if you're on the YouTube channel, leave a message, comment, tell us what you think, ideas you want to see manifested, and all that good stuff. So, all right. So having that being out of the way. Okay, so this particular book has a website, so you can check that out as well. www.watercure.com. Now this will be this chapter is chapter 10. And share with us if you have made any changes to your water intake, habits, changes, success, not so much success. So share with us your stories so we can learn from each other. Okay, so this is chapter 11. I'm one week behind. Sorry about that. I've been asleep at the wheel. Okay, so this is chapter 11, and this will be part 1. Wow. Okay. Okay, chapter 11, the simplest of treatments in medicine. Your body needs an absolute minimum of 6 to 8 ounces glasses of water a day. Alcohol, coffee, tea, and caffeine containing beverages do not count as water. The best times to drink water, clinically observed in peptic ulcer disease, are 1 glass half an hour before taking food, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and similar amount 2.5 hours after each meal. This is the minimum of water your body needs. For the sake of not shortchanging your body, 2 more glasses of water should be taken around the heaviest meal or before going to bed. Here's a good, just a side note, here's a good little, what do you call it? Take action kind of thing right here. And of course, for those who are not water drinkers like me, you might want to work your way up instead of doing it, uh, all at once. Because sometimes doing it all at once can be overwhelming. So you want to take it a little bit at a time and work your way up and then maintain it. Maintaining is hard. Yeah. So, anyways, thirst should be satisfied at all times. With increase in water intake, the thirst mechanism becomes more efficient. Adjusting water intake to meal times prevents the blood from becoming concentrated as a result of food intake. When the blood becomes concentrated, it draws water from the cells around it. A rough rule of thumb for those who are heavy set is to drink a half ounce of water for every pound of body weight. A 200-pound person needs to take 100 ounces of water. A good gauge for the water needs of the body is the color of urine. A well-hydrated person produces colorless urine, not counting the color of vitamins or color additives in food. A comparatively dehydrated person produces yellow urine. A truly dehydrated person produces urine that is orange in color. So, in other words, you want to drink water until your urine is clear. That's the benchmark, right? Water is the cheapest form of medicine for a dehydrated body. As simply as dehydration will, in time, produce the major diseases we are confronting now, constant attention to daily water intake will prevent the emergence of these diseases. William Gray's letter is included here to show how water is a better medication for the treatment of so many different labeled complications of chronic dehydration. I hope to impress on your mind a simple fact. There is more natural magic in a glass of water than any medications you are given for the treatment of the conditions I have explained in this book. And I do not sell water. Water should be free. So this letter is dated November 2nd, 1994. There's a phone number there, and it is addressed to Dr. B. And the letter reads, "It has been 1 year since I first read your book. Since then, my health has improved significantly. I am now 52 and in excellent health. This was not the case before your book inspired me to make water an integral part of my life. To most people, I was successful and in excellent health. Normal weight, unusual strength and endurance, above average at sports, with an excellent diet, a lot of fresh vegetables and whole grains, and very little meat, animal products, or processed foods. Yet my list of complaints stretches over the last 50 years and includes duodenal ulcer or duodenal ulcer, however you want to pronounce that, at age 19, indigestion, colon, and elimination problems, age 19 to 51. Wow, that's a long time. Food allergies, age 12 to 17. Chronic sinus infection, age 5 to 51. Chronic and acute back problems, age 13 through age 51. Emotional illness and mental confusion, age 6 to age 51. These problems were even more bewildering and confusing because I am intelligent, educated, and motivated to find solutions to problems. I have been searching for answers to these problems for 35 years. I have looked for answers in diet supplementation, exercise, yoga, meditation, traditional religion, spiritual practices, acupuncture, traditional medicine, chiropractic, massage, Reiki, polarity balancing, 12-step programs, and self-improvement books and courses such as EST and the Hoffman Quadrinity process. Hmm, those are interesting rabbit holes to go down. Okay, just a side note there. I had, of course, read many times about the importance of drinking plenty of water. I even invested in a reverse osmosis water filter 6 years ago, hoping that the improved state of the water would motivate me to drink more water. In spite of this, I never gave water therapy a fair chance. Until I read your book, other beverages always looked better to me, particularly tea and coffee. Oh, yeah, ditto here. Same with me. At the same time I read your book, I had a chronic nerve injury in my upper back that intermittently prevented me from playing golf or racquetball for a period of 2 years. My arm strength was one third of what it had been only 2 years previously. I was at a low point in my life, physically and mentally. I had never drunk in my life or smoked more than 5 cigarettes in a day. That's still a lot, in my opinion. Just a side note there. At the time, I was not drinking, I was not smoking or drinking alcohol. Yet, I found myself obsessed with thoughts of caffeine, smoking, and drinking. Although I have been a frequent visitor at chiropractic, osteopathic, and massage therapists, I had not needed to visit a medical doctor for 15 years. In my desperation, I went to an MD who prescribed an anti-stress medication, a pain reliever, and a muscle relaxant. I took the prescribed doses and fell into a semi-coma for 16 hours and discontinued the medication. A few weeks later, a friend came to my home for dinner and gave me your book. Within 1 week of adding 2 to 3 quarts of water to my diet, I noticed that the pain from the nerve injury went away and I was able to begin exercising. I had much less indigestion and gas. My urges and compulsive behavior lessened substantially or vanished. I no longer had to fight the urge to smoke, drink, stuff myself, or use excessive caffeine. My energy levels improved. My drinking, my thinking, my thinking and work improved. Please feel free to use me as a reference. I'm happy to talk to anyone without water at any time. William E. Gray, Vienna, Virginia. Okay, so just as another side note, here's a challenge for you guys reading this book. Um, Try the water challenge for 2 weeks and see what happens. You know, I always say you are your own scientist. Don't believe what people say. Just because this guy has a MD after his name doesn't mean he's the expert. He might be an expert because he, treated a lot of people with water, but ultimately your body is your ultimate physician, right? So don't take his word, this doctor's word for it about drinking water. Use his formula that he gave about on the beginning of the chapter here, about drinking before each meal and taking exercise and all that stuff. Take one little aspect and work it for 2 weeks and see what happens. And then let us know in the description box, in the comment box below, see how you're doing. And it's a daily battle, in my opinion, because you're going to have days where you're going to fall off the wagon. I know I speak from experience. Um, and you might have a little bit of a lag time before you jump on the wagon and start over. That's just life, that's just the way life works. But never give up, right? Never give up. Okay, enough of that little rant there. Let us continue. Quality of drinking water. Naturally, the quality of drinking water is most important to health. Ordinary tap water, unless there is proof of its being contaminated with chemicals and heavy metals such as lead, is a good source of supply. Tap water has the protection of chlorine as a bacteria killing agent. Bottled water is said to be sterilized by the addition of ozone at the time of bottling. Ozone or superoxygen seems to have a bacteria killing property. Bottled water can serve as an alternative source of supply of drinking water. Water should be water and not just any drink. Water should be free of chemicals, particularly caffeine and alcohol. As mentioned in the previous chapter, caffeine and alcohol are toxic chemicals. They are addictive drugs as far as the cells of the human body are concerned. Caffeine is a natural diuretic, forcing more water out of the body than it is contained in the caffeinated beverage. Caffeine also acts directly on the brain cells and forces them to use some of their critical energy reserves on trivial actions and whims. The effect of caffeine on the brain is energy depletion. Caffeine, if taken repeatedly, eventually exhausts the brain. When the brain needs energy reserves to cope with a crisis, it will be far less effective because it is energy depleted and depressed. The energy reserve depleting effect of caffeine on the brain is one of the primary causes of attention deficit disorder, ADD. Very interesting. Hmm. Okay, caffeine has another detrimental effect on the brain that should be considered as a second main impact that pushes the brain in the direction of reaching an ADD status. The brain maintains its energy reserves to use for new experiences, dangers, and fresh ideas. This is how it learns selectively and from new experiences. Caffeine not only depletes the stored energy pools in the brain, it also inhibits the enzyme system initiated by phosphodiesterase, PD. PD activity is a vital step in the direction of memory making by the brain cells. Caffeine is naturally designed to cause stupefaction of the brain. Caffeine is used by a number of plants as a nerve warfare chemical against the predators. The coffee plant produces the caffeine in its seeds to defend itself. Caffeine inhibits the nervous system and memory mechanisms in its predators in such a way that they lose their wits and their art of camouflage and become less alert and less reactive, and thus less able to protect themselves. They become much easier prey for their own predators. That is why the coffee plant is plagued by far fewer bugs than most other plants during its growth period. Bugs know better than to eat it, but we humans consume the plant's chemical poison as a pleasure-inducing beverage. This is why so many US school children have reading and learning problems. Despite all the money that is spent on their education, their average standard is far below children in less privileged societies. I'm kind of hesitating because I'm not quite understanding. Because usually it's not usual that kids drink coffee. So, coffee as in chocolate, caffeine as in chocolate. I'm thinking of other ways of putting caffeine in kids' food or drink, or excuse me, maybe in sodas? I don't know. Just this paragraph is not very clear. If any of you understands what that paragraph means, leave it in the comment below and enlighten me. Enlighten us. Okay. All right. Remember too that artificial sweeteners, aspartame in particular, are dangerous and can cause a host of disease conditions. Maybe they're talking about like diet sodas. That makes sense because kids drink a lot of diet sodas. Maybe energy drinks. I've never really read the labels on energy drinks because I don't drink energy drinks, but I wouldn't be surprised if they put a lot of stuff in there. Okay, let's try that paragraph again. Remember too that artificial sweeteners, aspartame in particular, are dangerous and can cause a host of disease conditions, including cancer of the bladder, breast, and possibly prostate. Prostate. I think that's a typo because prostrate is a verb that means um, like kowtowing, where you kind of worship the king, when you prostrate yourself on the floor. Prostate is the male genitalia. Just to, um, what's the word I want? I'm at a loss for words. Must be my coffee this morning. Clarify, clarify. So I think that's a typo. Possibly prostate, as well as brain tumors. Do not take this statement lightly. Water should also be clear of toxic metals and bacterial and parasitic contamination. Unfortunately, in industrial countries, the devastating effect of pouring chemical and toxic waste in rivers and lakes is not fully appreciated. As a result of this careless indifference, many of the sources of drinking water have become contaminated. This problem is compounded by the age of water pipes that were laid in urban areas many decades ago. They have by now collected layers of deposit in them. Further problems seem to present themselves by the age and inadequacies of water filtration and treatment plants that are not equal to their present day tasks in some major cities. Although chlorination of water at lower levels is adequate against bacterial and amoebic contaminants, it is not fully effective against heavy contamination by cryptosporidium, and possibly Giardia. Sorry, butchered that word. These parasites can cause health problems in some people when the water is heavily contaminated and the immune system of a person is suppressed. Chlorination and fluoridation of water are two hot issues. Chlorine seems to be offensive to most people for its smell and taste in water. Fluoride is added to prevent dental decay in children. There is a movement afoot to stop fluoridation of water because it is being blamed for teeth and gum deformity in some people. It is also classified as a potential carcinogen. Opposing this group are some scientists that have shown that fluoride helps to increase bone density in people with osteoporosis. Uh, just a side note, I would encourage you to do your own research on that because there's a lot of research about fluoride being a carcinogen, a known carcinogen, not even potential. So, but don't take my word for it. You could go on the Health Services HHS website. Um, and then I know Florida, I don't know if the law has passed or it's on the floor to be voted on, but they're voting to take fluoride out of the city water. Anyways, there's research on tons of research on fluoride. So interesting how this doctor uh is being nice about it. Yes, we have to be nice about it, right? But do your own research. That's what I'm saying. Okay. Uh Onward. Sorry about that. In recent molecular research on fluoride intake by the cells of the body, it was shown that fluoride is only picked up by cells that are already damaged. Normally functioning cells do not concentrate fluoride inside them. This research indicates that it is not fluoride that causes cell damage and that the interior cell concentration of fluoride is the post-damaging event. Bear in mind that chlorine and its bacteria-killing action is the greatest gift to us who live in these times. Without chlorine, people would die in their millions from devastating infections such as chlorella, salmonella, and many more. You need to think about chlorine with gratitude. If you find its smell bothersome, let the water stand for half an hour in an open top jug. Since chlorine is a natural gas, it will evaporate and the water will become sweet and will not smell. Oh, sorry about that. I didn't move the book. Okay, let's try that paragraph again. Bear in mind that chlorine and its bacteria killing action is the greatest gift to us to live in these times. Without chlorine, people would die in their millions from devastating infections such as chlorella, salmonella, and many more. You need to think about chlorine with gratitude. If you find its smell bothersome, let the water stand for a half hour in an open top jug. Since chlorine is a natural gas, it will evaporate and the water will become sweet and will not smell. Basically, if you are sensitive to the smell of chlorine, let water from the tap stand a while before drinking it. You can easily and safely drink this water without having to pay for brand name water. You should not let your body go without water because of the level of chlorine it contains. You can get rid of chlorine very easily. Just a side note, I drink alkaline water because it is said, and do your own research again, uh, that you know, illness and sickness like cancer, arthritis, Epstein-Barr, all those good stuff, they cannot survive in an alkaline environment. So if you keep your body alkaline, then it helps fight all those chronic diseases. Just a thought. And again, do your own research. Paul Gonzalez is a radio talk show host with United Broadcast Network, which airs his show from 110 radio stations across America and also through the internet to the world. I have been on his show many times. During one of my interviews on November 30th, 1998, Mr. Gonzalez announced the result of an experiment he had conducted with tap water. He let tap water stand for a while in a jug. He then collected some empty designer bottles, filled them with the tap water, and offered this water, to his visitors. Without exception, his friends were complimentary about the taste of the bottled water. When he told them they were drinking ordinary tap water they had been left to stand for a short while, none of them could believe it. They could not imagine how easily the chlorine smell had been cleared, leaving the water tasting clean and sweet. If you are concerned about the quality of water in your area and there is a possibility that it might contain toxic metals such as lead, mercury, cadmium, and too much iron or aluminum, you should get an alternative source of supply. A prudent alternative is to attach a solid carbon filter to the faucet in your kitchen. After the initial cost of about $150 for the filter unit, it should cost no more than $35 a year to change the carbon cartridge. Each carbon filter unit can produce more than 600 gallons of high quality drinking water. So each gallon of water will cost less than 8 cents. By having your own source of high quality, safe drinking water, your body will not become dehydrated because you do not like the taste of tap water. Solid carbon filters remove all the toxic metals, chemicals, chlorine, some fluoride, bacteria, giardia, and cryptosporidium. It is not in the not too distant future. I predict most homes will be equipped with a home water filter unit. It will not be practical for local governments to provide 100% high quality drinking water through municipal water systems when no more than 5% of that water is used for drinking and cooking purposes. They will begin to legislate for lower standards of water quality that will be provided at much higher cost than today. If you have a well, no matter how sure you are of the quality of the water, you should have it tested frequently, chlorinated every so often to prevent bacterial and fungal growth in the stagnant water. You should routinely check the casing of your well for surface water leaks into the well. Surface water seepage into the well could contaminate your water with animal parasites such as Giardia or Giardia. For washing purposes and to prevent chlorine burns on your skin, it is advisable to attach a chlorine filter to the shower head in the bathroom. Water from such a filter is not safe to drink. Wow, that's a lot of good. We'll stop here for today, but that's a lot of good practical advice, recommendations, I would say, right? Do your own research and yeah, take up the water challenge and see how it goes. And I always say do your own research I know research takes a lot of time, a lot of brain energy, a lot of patience, but you know what? It's important because when you do your own research, you are actually um, rewiring your brain neurons, and your body is physically and mentally digesting the information as opposed to just taking other people's word for it, right? And in a way, when you do your own research, you are owning it, owning that information. You are taking responsibility for your own education, for your own health. There's a difference. There's a difference. I used to get really annoyed when I hear people say do your own research, but it took me a while to understand why it's important. And of course, it's not possible to do deep dives. You know, you have to kind of pick and choose your own topics to do deep dives. But a lot of times, simple Google searches is sufficient. You know what I mean? Anyways, tell me what you think. But I give you a lot of kudos for being here and for being with us and sticking with us. So, okay, enough of that little rant. We will see you next time for the next part two. And in the meantime, please check out our website, sign up for our newsletters, have a happy holiday, and we will see you. Check out our merch. We've got new holiday uh, special Black Friday, whatever it is that you call it, coming up. Um, and have a great week, and we'll see you soon. Okay, bye bye now.